Why did I come here? Well, first of all, I was tired. Two things. I was tired of working like dead-end jobs.
I haven't gone home at all. I've been here this whole time.
Okay.
Oh.
I haven't seen, smelled, tasted America.
I'm Jessica, and you've reached the Destination.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Destination. My name is Jessica. I've been living abroad as an expat for 6 years, first in Medellin, Colombia, and now in Chongqing, China. One of the questions that always comes up is it worth it? Is living abroad worth it? So today, as I am really going through it mentally with everything going on in the world, I'm contemplating, thinking about possibly returning to the U.S. I can't believe I said it. Please do not ask me when I'm coming back home. I do not know. I said what I said. I'm thinking about it. That thought process also led me through the files of content that I've made, and there's a very premium piece that I've been sitting on for nearly 2 years. This is a multi-part series that I've done with two of my friends, all of us in varying stages of our expat life. This conversation is going to be clutch for anyone who is thinking about living abroad, no matter how old you are or what country you want to live in. Although this content was recorded quite some time ago, it is still relevant. In fact, it might even be more relevant because we have the gift of hindsight. Also, we sat down again a year after this first part and spoke about how things have changed and caught up about where everyone is now. I have been known to repeatedly say that moving abroad was the best decision I've ever made in my life, but the decision to move home is proving to be the most difficult decision I've ever had to make in my life. So was it worth it? Tune into this series each week and find out. Without further ado, I present, is living abroad worth it? Take it away, Jessica. Okay. Welcome to the Destination. Today I am here with two friends. I have my friend Carlisa here. She is an educator, an author, an amazing human being. This is her book.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, my name is, and I have daddy issues.
Yes, authoress.
We'll be talking to her today. And this is my beautiful friend Sammy, who is a podcaster and educator as well, and another amazing person. So I have gathered them today here at my apartment to discuss China. So Carlisa is getting ready to sadly leave us forever.
I got to go.
And Sammy has just returned after a long stint back home in America due to COVID. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. Leaving for good and returning, and then me, who has never left China since I got here almost 3 years ago. So ladies, let's get started.
Yes.
We are ready.
Let's go.
Let's start with why we moved here. So Carlisa, why did you move to China?
Well, I moved to China because I was teaching in Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. And I had been teaching there for 6 years, and it was like in a very urgent environment. I was teaching in a Title I funded school. The kids were like, I want to say 98% on free reduced lunch, below grade level. It was just like very urgent. Every day was very urgent. And so I wanted to take a break, but I didn't want to necessarily step out of education. So I figured coming to China would be a way that I could still get a break from that urgent, everyday teacher type public education career, but step into a place where I could still teach, but it not be so intense.
Yeah. Makes sense. Sammy?
Why did I come here? Well, first of all, I was tired two things. I was tired of working like dead end jobs. Like, you know, before I got here, I was working in two places. At night, I was working at CVS as a manager, and during the day, I also was a teacher. So I taught also. I shout out to South Bend, Indiana. I taught in a urgent preschool kindergarten situation to get the kids, you know, elementary school ready, and I was just like, this is no longer fun. And then I was looking at my bank account every 2 weeks, and it was like, sis, we need to figure something out. So China came knocking, and then, you know, that's why we're here.
All right. So, how long have you been here?
I've been here, it was 2 years and 2 months.
2 years and 2 months.
So altogether, it would be going on 3 years had I not left. So we're gonna say 2.
Okay, 2 years.
2 years.
Okay. And I've been here for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in March 2021. For me, I don't know about you guys, but it feels like I've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
I feel like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the first year goes really quick, but then you get used to everything, and it's like you just fall in. So,
Same, yeah.
Fall in line and adjust and do what you need to do.
exactly. You get into a routine. So both of you guys went home. You went home for Christmas last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
What do you mean? Like,
So like for me, I haven't gone home at all. I've been here this whole time.
okay.
I haven't seen, smelled, tasted America or anything, you know, Western at all. So I guess my question is, how was it? How did you feel when you landed, when you got there?
So this is landing there made me feel like, whoa, like I'm home, you know, and going there, flying from here, there were a lot of just like maybe Chinese tourists because at the time I was going home. So it still didn't feel like even on the plane that I was like going home. It still very much felt like a domestic flight in China. So landing there and seeing like USA passport holders this way and like foreigners that way, I'm like, yes, I get to go. Like that part was kind of cool, like feeling like I'm home. And I remember a Chinese lady saying to me, like, oh, look at that foreigner. And I turned around, I'm like, no, you the foreigner.
Exactly.
We in the States, boo, you the foreigner, not me. So that was kind of cool. Like it felt cool, but in terms of being home, it's just, I guess, great being with family and being able to order stuff easily and it not be a hassle, being able to
Not having to point at pictures on the
not
menu.
having to
To actually be able to have conversation
and people being able to read your face. Like I remember people looking at my face like, girl, you look like you tired. I'm like, yes, you know, and that feeling like a human again, you know, like those interactions that you can have every day that you don't necessarily get in China because I don't speak the language fluently enough to engage with people just around. So being seen and not just as a foreigner, just as a regular person that they're like, hey sis, you know, that felt good.
Oh, that makes sense. Now,
Yes.
when it was time to pack up and say goodbye to the fam, and then you got on that long flight again, and you landed back in Chongqing. How was that?
I don't know. I think maybe I think a part of me was ready to get back to work. Like it was like, all right, family, this has been great. I'm ready to kind of get back into my own space because, you know, when you're going home to visit, you're staying with whoever, and I mean, I was staying with my parents, but
It's not your space.
it's not my space,
Yeah.
and clearly the space that I had was gone. You know, it was turned to my mom's office, and like it just wasn't. There was no space really for me, and life continued after I left. Right, so I go back, and they're all getting up and going to work, and I'm looking around like, yep. All right, you know, so it was nice. It was nice to get back home. I was looking forward to getting back into my routine, getting back into my space. But I also knew that China wouldn't necessarily be home for a long time. That's going home and coming back made me think like, I don't think I can stay here for, you know, as long as other people have stayed.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you think that if you hadn't gone home, you'd still feel like that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that could be a thing. Or I would be questioning it for sure. Like, I think I would be thinking, like, what would it be like if I went home? Or what would life look like if I went back? Or, you know, maybe I would question it, but because I went home, I know for certain that I prefer home over China.
That makes sense.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I've told you this. Like, if I go home, I feel like I won't come back. Like, if I go home to visit,
Even to visit,
I'd be like, listen, there's an entire beautiful apartment in Chongqing. Here's the code to the door. Go in there and get what you want. I'm not coming back. I can't see it. So I'm always curious about how that is, like coming back after going home and visiting. So now for Sammy.
Yes.
Was that okay? So Sammy went home for a wedding.
Yes.
In March of 2020, right before China decided to close the borders to everyone. So she didn't know that was going to happen. She was just going home, planning to come back and resume life as normal after the Spring Festival holiday. So prior to that, did you go home before?
No.
Okay, so that was your first visit home.
First visit home.
Okay, so same question for you.
No, I think for me, it was weird landing because I flew from Xiamen to LA. And I landed in LA, and it was really weird. Like, it was a weird thing because I felt like, damn, I'm home, right?
Yeah.
But then I felt like, shit, it's really expensive here. Like, I went to get something to eat, and that tab came, and I'm like, that was the first thing that I was like, yeah, I can't stay here for this. And, you know, that for me, well, also, we know airport food is expensive. But I was like...
In the States, it's not in China.
No, it's not in China, but in the States, it's like $4 for a bottle of water. And I'm like, what? I can go down the street and get a water for 2 kwai. Like, that's not even a full dollar. So I'm like, oof. But it was nice being able to communicate without pointing and getting frustrated, pulling out the phone to translate. And, okay, this is what happened because I missed my connecting flight to Dallas. So I'm trying to get rebooked for the next available flight. I'm like, this is important. I'm in a wedding. Like, I have to go. So had that happened in China, I felt like
you would have missed it.
I would have missed out.
I'm not gonna make it.
I'm not gonna make this wedding because it was just so much of a hassle. And like I said, COVID it wasn't at the magnitude as it is now. Like when I flew into the U.S., CDC was on board. They were only taking 10 folks out at a time, temperature checking, asking the random, have you been to Wuhan? Have you been in contact with anyone with COVID? Da da da. And I'm like, oh.
Wait, so they were only letting 10 people deplane at a time?
Yep.
So how long did it take to get...
Well, I asked to be deplaned first because I was just like, I have to go make my flight. Literally, I had like an hour and a half to clear customs.
And you still missed it.
I still missed it, yeah. A hotmess.com, literally.
But you made it to the wedding?
I made it to the wedding. It was a beautiful wedding.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So that was good, exciting. Got to be home for something fun.
Yes.
And then, what happened?
Dun dun dun.
So I flew back to LA, stayed for a couple days, and I flew to Indiana, which is where I'm originally from. And I was staying at my friend's house, and in the middle of the night, which was the day here, my phone is like, ding, 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 ding. China has now closed, like, whatever, you know, we all have WeChat, we get those messages, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna close the border, whatever, I don't care. I'm thinking in my head, I have a valid resident permit, so
they can't close it to me.
Right. They can't close it to me. Sorry. Everybody, like, all valid resident permits are now suspended. I'm just like, So now I'm on. Okay, now I need to figure out really now for real life what I'm about to do. So I had to go get a job. I had to,
Real life took over.
Real life took over, and I was just like, every single day, I'm like, when are these borders opening back up? Because I cannot. I was, kind of like you, didn't have my own space, did not have a car, so I'm literally like at the mercy of like everyone else, which made me feel super just ugh.
So you were ready to come back.
What? Ready?
Yeah.
And I said this, if for some reason it couldn't happen, listen, I was looking into Korea, Japan, Taiwan. I was getting out of there. Like, I was not, the States for me is not it.
Well, she said what she said too. The States are not it. Super relatable right now in 2022.
Super relatable.
Find out what happens next as Sammy reintegrates into Chinese society and Carlisa heads back to the US. See you at the next destination.